All right. So we've got Seeking Discovery TikTok over here. We've got Wanderlounge_bus on Instagram right here. And we've got the Wanderlounge YouTube channel. So those of you who use those other networks, make sure to follow us all. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That would be appreciated.
Yeah, I definitely can't read that from here.
Yeah. In that case, my phone is right there.
You aren't taking questions. Oh, you weren't taking questions. So I was making it easy to see. Well, we're definitely going to attempt to take questions.
Ivan's going to pull up the feed on his phone.
So we'll take the questions on which one, though?
Probably TikTok.
Yeah, I'm guessing there'll probably be a larger audience.
Yeah, if we see some movement on the Instagram, I'll just get up and eyeball it.
Well, and I think I have Instagram on my iPad, so...
But we also have our notes on your iPad.
I understand that, but if you see something on the screen...
Yeah, there you go.
Perfect.
Ray.
Couldn't refer... Oh.
You're not even logged into Instagram.
It's because nobody uses an iPad for Instagram.
That might be true.
Oh, now it wants me to approve on that device? No, we're not doing this.
Well, then go to your TikTok there, and I'll go on Instagram here.
I don't think I have TikTok. Well, I can't go on my own TikTok on a different device.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, I think it'll break the live.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll just roll.
We'll keep an eyeball on it. Let's worry about the TikTok because he has a more active following.
Okay.
Instagram has not been a primary target for me for a while.
Sylvie's other phone for Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
My phone?
Yeah.
Your phone.
You can't play...
Yeah, no more Bejeweled or whatever.
I can pause this one.
Yeah.
She has two phones.
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
and a computer.
Is your microphone turned the wrong way now on there?
You know, technically,
You are...
if it is directional, then it is pointed the wrong direction. And now it's pointed the right direction.
What am I looking for? Instagram.
Looking good here. Ivan, you are slightly out of frame over here. We'll do a small adjustment. Yeah. We're still at the point where people watching on YouTube haven't started yet.
Yeah.
Oh, Smuggler said he turned off the chat yesterday because we weren't taking questions to make it easier to see.
We were trying to take questions, but then somebody turned them off.
And we're on Instagram. We're on Wanderlounge.
Wanderlounge_bus.
Wanderlounge_bus.
Yeah.
It's a picture of Hillary.
It's probably a picture of Hillary.
Because it says Hillary Love.
Yeah. Well,
it doesn't say Wanderlounge_bus.
Well,
anyways.
Sometimes she clicks things.
Okay. Well, you guys move around. Find how you find the live feed on here.
I have no idea.
Nor do I.
Oh, you know what? I'm not live on Wanderlounge_bus. I'm logged into my cat's Instagram right now.
We'll be right back after this short commercial. Why don't you go fold your...
Make sure to follow me at Tootsie Buscat.
We got nine minutes before it's ready. Because it has to mellow back down to build the gluten strands.
And how long will it take you to fold? And
approximately 2 to 3 minutes.
Oh, okay, so we can keep the conversation going while you're... You do 4 as you turn the bowl 90 degrees. I have 3 bowls.
Right.
So I have to do 12 folds.
Yeah.
I don't think I can actually just log into that Instagram, which is why I'm logged in as my cat.
Hey, Jenna.
I have to wait just a minute because it says it's currently uploading. So we'll go ahead and we'll publish that on my cat's Instagram.
Jenna says, do you think you'll be doing that kitchen game while you're there? Do you mean the cooking show?
Yeah.
The Tiny Kitchen Big Flavor? Is that what you mean? That's the only kitchen game I can think of. Kate says, how's the festival going? It is rainy here in Florida. Yep. So we're hanging out in the LaCroix Cruiser today instead of outside and getting some work done, making content.
All right, well, I have changed my mind since Hillary has left. I can't stream live on Instagram on our bus channel.
So no Instagram it is.
No Instagram it is. So we are all about TikTok.
Unless you want to stream on your cat's account.
Yeah, I'm not going to stream on my cat's account. That's a lot of effort for my cat.
So Jenna, as of right now, we don't formally have anybody on the schedule to compete for Tiny Kitchen Big Flavor because I still haven't edited the episode we filmed in July. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But I finally re-rendered all the footage. So,
good.
So now it's back to HD, so my computer won't try to kill itself.
Yeah,
while
okay.
editing.
That's what you get for filming with 8 cameras.
Yeah.
Well, it was 4 cameras at 4K.
Yeah.
With a, let's see, I got my MacBook in 2017, so a 7-year-old MacBook
Yeah.
Pro. It's not happy.
No. Do we want to aim the camera down a little further, or
How's the camera angle, guys? Are we good?
For the TikTok,
Can you
it
see all
doesn't
three of
matter
us?
to me.
okay? No, but they said they couldn't see our faces because of the...
Oh, I already turned it down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because before I think our faces were more down here.
Oh, okay.
So as the
I'm
text
not logged
scrolls up,
into
that's
our
where they were
Instagram,
seeing.
so I
Daytona
cannot do
500.
the live
Who's
stream.
winning?
They postponed it because of the
Oh,
rain.
the rain. Yeah.
We got 85 Shay. What's up, buddy?
We'll get started in a
Smugler
minute
says he
here.
thinks it's about perfect.
Yeah, we can unplug it that way.
Yeah, they all say they're happy with the angle there.
Great.
Well, let's go. Before
right.
Ryan has to disappear in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
In approximately 6 minutes.
6 minutes. Okay. Well, we are here at Schoolie Swarm 2024. We're having a beautiful day. It's been raining since yesterday at some point. We have not seen the sun since, what day is it today? Since Friday.
Yeah.
Lots of generators running because you don't get much solar power when the sun is gone. And that's not going to slow us down at all.
Although I was net even yesterday. I think I went to bed at the same percentage I woke up at.
Yeah.
I was net negative, but I have a Hillary.
That's fair.
And she uses power. I know you were baking all day yesterday, but she was baking and blending and hair drying and playing the stereo and everything else. And our build, we have enough power that we just take for granted that we have plenty and run things without a second thought, which is a great place to be most of the time, but sometimes it rains.
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about the 10 best things about living in a bus. And originally it was the 10 best things about living in a school bus. However, Ivan here does not live in a school bus. He lives in a beautiful converted coach that you can definitely find many videos doing tours of this beautiful coach. I will have one on my YouTube channel as soon as I get around to editing it. Which probably won't happen while we're together making a bunch of content.
And that was recorded
but
at
shortly
Swarm last
after
year,
that,
wasn't it?
you'll be able to see my tour of Ivan's bus, and it will be the best of the tour videos because I know the right questions to ask, and I know the things that matter. I'm not going to ask him how does he poop, and oh my God, you have a huge refrigerator.
Yeah.
It's going to be things that are actually important about bus builds. So between the three of us, we have decades of experience living in a school bus. I think we actually hit right at 20 years.
Yeah.
Total
Pretty close,
combined.
yeah.
I've been living in a school bus since for about 7.5 years. Ryan, you're at 2.5.
Yeah, coming up on 3.
Coming up on 3, and Ivan
7.5 as well. So we're at 18 years.
Okay, yeah. So we could vote
drink
if
yet.
we combined it. But, yeah, we can't drink yet. And we have very different idea. We came from very different ideas about how to build a bus. The reasons we decided to start living in a school bus and convert one, or a coach bus and convert it. So I think it's going to be a pretty interesting talk. I have 10 items on my list. There will be overlap because we all have essentially 10 items apiece. And instead of doing 10, 10, 10, I'll go ahead and start with my 10, and these guys will jump in when we have overlap and they want to pitch in their opinions on that topic. So if everybody's ready, then let's get started.
So, question real quick.
Yep.
You want us to focus on that camera for the YouTube, or...
We We go back ways. Okay. Yeah, we'll go back and forth. So
figured I'd ask.
Yeah. So folks who are watching on YouTube, we are also doing this as a live event on TikTok, on Ryan's TikTok, which is seeking_discovery.
Nope, that's my Instagram.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's just Seeking Discovery. We don't like Instagram here today. So we're doing YouTube and we're doing TikTok. So that's you guys.
Yep.
Make sure if you're watching on YouTube that you follow Ryan at Seeking Discovery and Ivan at LaCroix Cruiser. I will have links to both of those channels in the video description.
Sweet.
Yeah. All right, so number one on my list is going to be the most obvious thing. You get to travel. One thing that was really important for us was being able to move around the country and essentially follow springtime. There's a lot of reasons why you want to do that. Not only do you get to see all the amazing sights, you get to meet people in new places, etc. You also save a lot of energy trying to heat or cool your bus if you go where it's already the temperature that you want it to be. We're based out of Florida, so we're here for about 3 months out of the year when it's reasonable to be here. Around February, it's the end of February right now, but around the end of February, it starts to get too hot to be here, and you're going to be expending all of your energy on trying to keep it cool. If you go other places this time of year, you'll be expending all of your energy trying to keep it warm still. So around this time of year, we start to migrate north. We actually have one more event that we'll be doing, which we'll let Ryan talk about in a little bit here, on our way north, but we will be definitely heading to cooler temperatures as summer sets in. But for sure, that's one of the most important things for us, was being able to travel. We've done multiple laps around the country. Like I said, we've been doing it for about 7.5 years. We've been to almost all of the 48 contiguous states, and we've seen a lot of bucket list items. Even in our first year, we crossed off more places than most people would in a lifetime from their bucket lists.
Yeah, I think most of us probably join this life to be able to see new places. I know, Ivan, you always say you're going to see people more than you are places. Mm-hmm. But kind of overlapping with Josh, your backyard can be everywhere. Like, that's one of the coolest things about this lifestyle.
Yeah, and the traveling aspect, for myself, I used to travel for work. And traveling for work meant sleeping in hotels, having rental cars, eating in restaurants. Really, really not good for you in any one of those three. And it meant traveling, it meant being in airports, etc., etc. Now I get to travel with my wife. We're everywhere together. We can escape the grandkids in the winter. We can be with the grandkids in the summer when they actually know that we're there. Because when they're in school, they don't really care about us. Mm-hmm. And Ryan has to go fold some bread.
Intermission briefly.
Yeah. But we'll still be talking here.
Yeah, we'll keep it going, but we'll pause the list for a minute while he goes and folds some bread.
Well, we'll add Doug in to replace.
Replace him for a minute.
We're live on TikTok and recording for YouTube.
So come have a seat, Doug.
Yeah, come on in, Doug.
Fold my bread.
Yeah. Yeah, for YouTube, we're going to edit this part out because it doesn't make sense in a long-form YouTube video, but it's perfectly fine for TikTok, you guys.
Right. So I guess I'll have to watch for questions on that.
Let's see. Do we have any questions yet?
Yes. Oh, I've got them here.
You guys did this work yourselves. Yes. Absolutely. And that's going to be one of the points I'm going to talk about a few points down here. So stay tuned for that. We are definitely going to be getting to that.
Yeah. And yes, there are people that follow Christ in this community.
Absolutely.
And Hare Krishna and whatever God you want to pray to, we probably have someone that does.
Yeah, and that'll be a part of another point that we have coming up soon. It's a very diverse and very welcoming community.
Yes.
When you start talking about not just, we call it the schoolie community, but it's part of a larger community. The schoolie part identifies the folks with buses, but we have coaches, we have RVs, we have vans, we have box trucks, we have gypsy wagons, we've got people who are in minivans.
Tents, ambulances.
We have people in tents. We've got an ambulance over here someplace. It's a very, very wide range of types of rigs that you'll see here. Schoolie isn't what your drive. Schoolie is your mentality.
Yeah. So Doug, just so we'll introduce Doug here. He has no socials whatsoever.
He is antisocial.
No, he's everything but antisocial, but he's not on social media that much. But Doug and his wife Mindy travel in a coach. They're from Prince Edward Island, Canada. And your coach is a 2008?
2009.
2009 MCI D Series, similar to our bus here. Self-converted, obviously. It's their third bus, probably going on a fourth. If Doug has his way, they'll be staying with the third if Mindy has her way. We'll see who wears the pants in the family.
But it is a little bit better than Ivan's because it's got a Cummins.
Right, yeah. That's another video.
Right. I've got a Cummins.
Yeah. So box truck sounds like it could be cool. Yes, actually, box truck or step vans are great. They have the advantage of being square.
Yeah. Having
wide.
90-degree corners, you don't get that in a school bus. Well, you get it at the floor.
Yeah.
But in a school bus, about 18 inches off the floor, you have a chair rail that sticks out where the bus chairs were mounted. And you can't, well, people do. You should not cut that rail out because it's actually part of the structure where the wall meets the floor. So whenever you're building something, you can't really take advantage of that sidewall, or at least that part of the sidewall. You can notch out your furniture so it'll slide up. But in a box truck, generally speaking, it's a 90-degree corner and it's a flat wall that goes all the way up.
That was quick.
It looks like Don and
Uh-oh.
Penny are pulling in as well.
I think it's Frank.
Somebody's calling you, Ryan.
Somebody's calling me.
Yeah, I don't know who.
That's you.
Yeah, it's down here. I was a filler.
It says it's the bread police.
No, that's you ringing.
No, that was me ringing. That
That
was
is.
Penny.
Yeah.
Can you? They're right there. Okay. Since
This is a
since
live
you're
stream.
another face they
It's not just
recognize.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Penny and Dawn.
Yeah, from
Yeah.
Danville.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out. Okay.
And now they're backing up, so they are
Trying to
slight.
recognize where we are.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we got to figure out where they're going to go.
Well, where did what's his name go?
See what other questions we got here. I
I
saw
got
four.
distracted the sack for
Ever seen a hearse conversion?
Getting distracted.
Squirrel.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen a hearse conversion. Everyone I've seen in the back of the hearse so far has been dead.
Yeah, I have seen a hearse conversion, not in person though. I've seen it on some form of Instagram. Oh, I just lost.
Uh-oh.
What happened here?
I don't know.
Shows that we're still live up there.
Oh,
No,
we're
here.
definitely live.
Find it again.
I mean, it's still there. There it is.
Oh, okay, it's back. Okay.
Yeah, it's back.
I told you it was only going to take me 3 or 4 minutes.
Okay.
And I even cinnamoned one of the loaves while I was
Nice.
in there.
There you go. That-
Well, we filled in with Doug.
yeah.
Nobody missed you. For the truth.
I'm going back to my bread.
All right, so we'll go ahead and continue with the list. The second one on my list is the cost of living expenses. The difference between living in a traditional home or even renting an apartment versus living in a bus conversion or really any type of nomadic vehicle. One of the things that I found, and I think Ivan touched on it a little bit the other day in our last stream, when I was living in a house, my income requirements to maintain that were 3 to 4 times what they are in my bus. And that comes down to a bunch of different things. Like one major thing is I don't have an electric bill because I did investment in solar and I did investment in batteries and all of the accessories related to that. And that 99% of the time covers all of my power needs. We also have the fact that you can't go through a drive-through. You can't park in a lot of parking lots. So we save a lot of money not eating out.
Yes.
We do a lot more cooking in the bus, which is cheaper and better for you all the way around. There's no way around that.
No property taxes.
No property taxes. Depending on what state you live in, what state you're based out of, there may be property tax on vehicles. But it's
Okay.
usually super cheap compared to a house. It's not thousands of dollars. It might be a couple of $100.
I mean, you could argue that like your title every year or your registration, that's like your equivalent of property tax.
Sure, yeah.
Drop in the bucket compared to
Right.
regular property tax.
Yeah, it's not like paying on a house.
No.
Another thing is you have so much better control over how much money you're spending, because your biggest expense is going to tend to be your fuel, and you save money on fuel by traveling less. It's really easy to do.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest advantages of this lifestyle. Everybody always assumes that bus life is super cheap, super low cost, which it can be.
It can be.
But it can also be very expensive depending on how much you travel.
Yeah.
Ivan puts on the most amount of miles out of the three of us, I would imagine, in a year.
About 40,000 miles a year.
Yeah.
So Ivan's fuel expenditure is going to be much larger than Josh's and I's. But that's one of the great things about bus life is we get to set kind of that travel frequency.
Yeah, and I travel to meet people, but also to speak at conferences and things like that. So I get paid for part of that travel.
Right.
And it's cheaper than.
Yeah, and very good point, Sylvie. Thank you. It's cheaper than flights, hotels, all of that. So even the 40,000 a year we spend in fuel and maintenance, and very easy way to calculate, $1 per mile. That's going to cover your fuel and normally all your maintenance and repair expenses. And if you've gone a couple years that it hasn't been $1 a mile, still put that money aside. It'll catch up to you eventually. But that being said, much, much less expensive than flights, hotels, rental cars, and restaurants.
And you get to sleep in your own bed.
Right.
Every night. And I get to cook in my own kitchen.
Yeah, and I use the calculation of 50 cents a mile because I have a much smaller engine in my bus, and I go slower, and I get probably 40% better gas mileage. What do you get? 8?
7 to 8.
All right, I don't get 40% better gas mileage. I get 10% better gas mileage.
Yeah.
But when I'm driving, I calculate about 50 cents a mile. That does not include maintenance and repairs. There definitely are things like every now and again you will have a tire failure and you're going to need to replace it, and those will be several $100s to do. Things like that. That's just not calculated for me in my.
No, I calculated, but that's tires, oil changes, oil analysis, things like that.
Right. All right, so we're going to go down to the next one, and this one's more specific to buses. Bus functionality and durability compared to other types of campers. Now, we're not just talking about RVs, but I'm going to pick on them because they are by far the worst. Your typical RV, your commercial RV that you go to Camping World or some other motorhome dealer, when they built that device, they intended it to work for 3 weekends and 1 long week every year for 10 years. And the engineering that went into that is to achieve that goal and not a minute longer.
No.
When you take your RV to a lot of RV parks, if that's your thing, a lot of them won't let you in if your motorhome is more than 10 years old. And if you look at the way they're constructed, they are the thinnest possible walls. They generally have no insulation at all. People don't RV vacation in the winter. They go when the weather is nice.
Yeah.
They go with the intention of running their generator that's built into the side the whole time they're gone.
Or plugging into a pole.
Or plugging into a 30 or 50 amp outlet. So the air conditioner that's on the roof is 50-year-old technology that just happens to be powerful enough to keep the little camper cool, but it's wasting power, and there's very few solar power systems that are going to run that type of air conditioner at all, much less for very long. But the RVs are just so poorly made. I don't know a nicer way to put it. They're the cheapest materials possible, but they still charge a fortune for them.
Yeah, the term in the coach community for a factory-built RV is sticks and staples.
Sticks and staples, yeah.
And that's pretty much what they are. They're very poorly built. I used to, one of our shops, we used to repair factory RVs. Coming straight from the factory. They haven't made it to the owner's hands yet, and they need to be repaired. Things like they put a TV screen or a TV monitor holder on the wall. The wall is 1 inch thick, and they use a 3-inch long screw. That was a thing. Okay. Just poor assembly, things that don't work from the factory. So from the factory, they're brand new. They get inspected at the factory. The dealer inspects them when they receive them. The dealer inspects them when they ship them to the customer or get handed over to the customer. And then the customer lives with it for a week or two and comes back with a whole punch list of what needs to be repaired. Then they try to fix that.
But and hopefully they're able to.
Yeah, they're very, very poorly built. Whereas if you look at a bus chassis, we're talking something completely different. In the case of a coach, the designed life cycle is 30 years and 3 million miles. In the terms of a school bus, it's 10 years minimum.
Yeah.
Yes.
You got to think about what is a school bus intended for. It's intended for children as its cargo. It's a big steel cage. Go onto the internet, look up a bus rollover. It still is a bus, pretty much in the exact same shape.
Might have a broken window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have an RV rollover, and it looks like a dump truck just emptied a pile of debris.
Yeah, an RV will, at the slightest impact, will just explode into confetti, and there will be nothing left but a little sofa and a sink.
Yeah, so basically, a cloud of mosquitoes in Wisconsin in the summer.
Right.
Your RV doesn't stand a chance in that head-on collision. But no, seriously, RVs, when there's an accident on the interstate, they get a front-end loader and a container.
Yeah.
Whereas with a bus, there's a good chance it's driving away once they put it on its wheels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and as on a personal note, when I was originally getting into this lifestyle, I was entertaining all of the possible options, and that included factory-built RVs. And when I looked around at RVs that were in my price range, which was not a low number, the RVs that I was finding, generally more than 5 years old, generally less than 10 years old. Just about all of them had great stuff sticking out the side somewhere for where a wall had rotted away or the ceiling had leaked and there was water damage over here. And almost all of them, when you started the engine, first off, the engines were already warm when I got there.
Yes.
There was no cold starts happening when you're looking at these. But you start them up and you can hear the rod knocking. And these would have 30, 40,000 miles on them. When I bought my bus, it had pretty low miles. It had about 140,000 miles on it. So it's got a long life ahead of it. But it was built to last. Even the smaller Cummins engine that I have has a general expectancy of about 350,000 miles, as long as it's properly maintained and not abused, etc. But you look at the drivetrains that they put into these factory RVs, and you'll see a lot of little gas engines. You'll see Ford V10s. You'll see like Ford 460s, and you start them up, and you can hear those rods knocking. They are not up to the task of moving a lot of weight every time you go for a drive. And buses are engineered that way because they're expected to last somewhere between 18 to 20 miles before they are administratively retired from school districts. Which is another great thing when a school district isn't able to use a bus anymore and they have to sell it. Other school districts can't buy those and use them because they have the same limitations. So it's really a buyer's market there.
Yeah.
You can get a lot of bus for not a lot of money.
Yeah, and for on the coach end of things, we're a low mileage coach. We have 1.2 million miles.
Just a couple miles.
Yeah, just a few miles.
Our last coach was over 3 million when we sold it.
Well, you've got another million and a million and a half to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sitting at just under 200,000 now, and I think my engine life 50/50 rating is 350 for the DT 466.
No, it's 450.
Oh,
for the 466.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sweet.
Yeah.
And with the DT 466, when you do need a rebuild, it can be done in frame.
Oh, nice.
And generally speaking, you pop out the old pistons, you pop out the sleeves, you put new sleeves in, you put new pistons in, and then you put the top back on, and off you go.
Sweet.
Yeah, it can be done, literally it can be done in a couple of hours, and it can be done under a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with the Series 60 in here.
Yeah, my Cummins 5.9 is not that. It has a lower expected lifespan, and it's parent bore, so when you do that, some people bore it out and then they'll install sleeves, and now the next time it gets rebuilt you do that. But from the factory it's a little more involved, and you have to take it out.
Okay. See, even I'm learning stuff when we do these videos.
Yeah.
We all have different types of bus. So there's a lot to be shared. All right, so the next one on my list, the ability to build your home the way you want it, potentially for a fraction of the cost of a traditional house. Now, this is something, we'll contrast it against RVs real quick again, because they're easy to pick on, sorry.
They deserve it.
Yeah, when you look at an RV, there will be 50 or 60 of the exact same model in a row next to each other in a parking lot, and they'll all be, you open the door and they're going to have the same sink, they're going to have the same little refrigerator, they're going to have the same stupid sofa and the same chairs and the same bed on a chain that goes up and down or whatever.
Yeah.
They're all just exactly the same, and they're generally not, like, those aren't usually good components. Like, you're not going to be happy sleeping in that bed, you're not going to be happy sitting in that chair, you're not going to be happy using that little, what they call an excuse for a kitchen. We have a large stove, a large refrigerator, we've got a bigger double sink than most houses, we've got a amazing shower, we've got a super comfortable bed. We have a very nice, well-tuned for our lifestyle bus, and we were able to do it for a really good amount of money because we were able to build things, we're able to find things on sale, some things you might be able to pick up used. Facebook or Craigslist isn't so relevant anymore. Facebook Marketplace, you can get a lot of stuff for really great prices. On the solar side, which RVs, they don't even cover that. Like, you ask about
200 watts.
solar on an RV and they're going to give you something that's barely enough to keep the storage battery warm, much less useful for anything.
We had one question. What about the 7.3 Power Stroke? Thumbs up. Great engine.
Well,
No, but
well,
depending on
yeah,
no, but
let's caveat that. If you're looking at a Type A bus, and a Type A bus is the bus that's built from a van chassis, so it'll be a Ford F350 platform or E350 platform. It'll say kind of line on the side. That is the best engine you can get in that platform. Period. There's nothing better.
if it says 6.0 on the side, run.
Right. If you go for something newer than that, it's trash.
Yeah.
But the 7.3 in that platform, you will not find anything better. If you move up to the larger, the real buses, the medium-duty platform buses, that's actually at the bottom of my list of things that I won't tell you not to do. I have a list of things I will tell you not to do. It's not on it. There are a lot of things that are on it. The 7.3 is good. It's just the other options are better.
Yeah.
In a little bus, you're not going to get a Cat 3126. You're not going to get a DT 466. You're not going to get a Cummins 8.3. And the 7.3 is, it's just not as good as a Cummins 5.9, but that's literally the next step up. It's not far.
Yeah.
But I would recommend the 5.9 over 7.3. I would recommend the 7.3 over a lot of other things that I would literally tell you no. For most intents and purposes, the 7.3 is comparable to the Cummins 5.9.
Yeah. But back to what we were talking about before we got interrupted. Sorry. We
took a question.
We want your questions.
Yes.
But basically, there's 200 rigs here. There are only 2 that are the same because there's 2 factory-built vintage trailers, and they're not vintage, but that's the name on the side of them, that are identical.
Vintage brand.
Yeah. Other than that, everyone's bus that they have home built themselves is adapted to their needs. There's no similarities between any one of them. The similarities are maybe a little bit of layout, like the kitchen's somewhat in the middle, the living room somewhat at the front, and the bedroom somewhat at the back. Other than that, everyone's interpretation of what their home is their interpretation.
And that really is one of the best things about this lifestyle is it doesn't matter if what works for Ivan works for me, because I got to make my bus work for me. And you should spend the time and money to customize it for your needs. Don't build your bus for resale value or for a future owner or anything like that. Like, be practical about it, plan it out, and make it exactly what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, and most of us have like some special features that were something that we really just needed that maybe other people don't need. If you jump over to my Instagram after this, or not my Instagram, my TikTok after this, I've got a video of a motorcycle lift that I built for the back of my bus. We carry a 400cc scooter around with us, and we've got a lift that will pick it right up off the ground, and we carry it around and put it back down on the ground. That kind of thing, that customization, really makes them all unique.
He has a bread oven.
He has a bread oven. I have a regular
Well,
oven.
I
He
have
has
a real oven.
Yeah, you know, that's what I mean. You've got
Yeah.
you've got a real oven to bake lots of loaves of bread at the same time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whereas for us, we don't have an oven. We have a little, miniature Breville oven,
Yep.
but that's all we need in our case. So everyone's build is different. Everyone's build is unique, and everyone builds suits them perfectly.
Exactly.
And if it doesn't suit you, you can modify it.
Mm-hmm.
Next.
All right. So the next thing on my list, the schoolie community, and this is a huge deal because really early in my schoolie journey, we met a group of schoolie owners who we are still friends with today. In fact, two of those people are the ones who are putting on the Schoolie Swarm event that we're at now. They enjoyed getting together with other schoolies so much that they started this whole community, and this is the 7th year of the Schoolie Swarm, which is one event every year in Florida, and usually another, maybe 1 or 2 events somewhere else in the country through the summer when it's too hot to be in Florida anymore. But the schoolie community is how I know Ryan. It's how I know Ivan, and we see each other. For people who don't even he doesn't live in the same country as us. I see him 2 or 3 times a year. This guy lives in a different state than I do, although it's the next state over, not too far away. But I see him several times a year.
He lives in Wisconsin.
Who lives in?
Well, he's
he lives
technically
in
from
Wisconsin.
From
Sorry.
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I'm technically a Florida resident, but I hang out in Georgia and
Yeah.
I travel everywhere.
Right. Yeah.
Welcome to Nomad Life.
Yeah, exactly. Home is where we park it, and we really mean that.
And the people really are what make this community awesome. Whether you're just getting started, join the Schoolie Swarm Facebook group. It's a no BS kind of group. People will actually help you when you have questions. If you're broken down, it's a great network of people all over that will extend a hand, help you up.
Yeah.
Both of these guys have helped me so many times I've lost count. So the community is by far one of the best things about living in a bus.
Yeah, and the Swarm Facebook group, a lot of schoolie groups on the internet are unfortunately toxic would be a good description. You reach out for help. You're saying, hey, I want to know how to put a lock on my front door. The answer you'll get from the other groups is, if you don't know how to do that, you shouldn't own a bus.
Yeah.
The answer you'll get from Schoolie Swarm is 20, 30, maybe 40 people posting pictures, videos on how they did it and giving their suggestions. And no one's suggestion is bad. No one's suggestion is wrong, and no one's suggestion is right. And that's the other thing about, we mentioned building a bus. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Think about safety. Think about, we have seen wrong ways of wiring a bus, but and building solar systems. But that's a topic for another day.
Yeah, and one other thing about the Schoolie Swarm community is, or the Schoolie Swarm Facebook group specifically, is the goal behind the group is to get people together online with the expectation that you're going to be meeting up with them at events or on the road or whatever. So the vibe there is just completely different from most Facebook groups, regardless of topic. The toxicity really isn't there. Rule number 1 in there is be nice, and they mean it. If you're not being nice, then you're probably a poor fit for the community in general. What'd you get? Oh. All right. The next one on my list is self-empowerment and self-development. And this is really more about becoming self-sufficient, learning new skills for being able to build, maintain, and operate your vehicle over the course of the entire thing, starting from finding out what am I looking for when I'm purchasing, to how big of a bus do I need, what is my lifestyle require as far as storage? What kind of functionality and features do I need in my bus? And learning how to adapt that, learning how to do plumbing, learning how to do electrical, learning how to install a diesel heater, learning all the ins and outs of all the different engines, all the different transmissions. There's a lot of things that you can learn, and a lot of people out there who are ready to help you with that. And my goal was always to learn enough that I could start to help other people. And for the most part, I think I've achieved that. Although there are some topics where I don't consider myself to be a good voice, but the ones where I do speak up, I feel like I'm in a good position for that. But you get there's a lot of pride in that self-reliance. Like if you're out on the road and you've done all of this yourself, you know if you have a problem, you're going to be able to fix it, or at least you're going to be able to diagnose it enough to make solving it easier. You're going to be able to minimize your reliance on a tow truck or a mobile mechanic or an electrician or any of a number of other trades that are out there that if you're not doing something yourself, you're really not going to, you're going to be kind of helpless out there on the road.
Right, and a lot of people, because of their bus, have learned how to do plumbing, have learned how to do electrical, have learned how to paint, have learned how to build cabinetry, have learned how to do all sorts of things. And it is very empowering. For myself, the building aspect, not a big deal, but I've learned how to rebuild diesel engines. I've learned how to, change suspension components on a bus, how to change the brakes on a bus. And don't be intimidated by this big bus. The mechanicals are extremely simple in these things. Your car is way, way more complicated than this thing will ever be. You just need bigger tools.
And it's way easier for the touch and feel of something this size to be able to diagnose, fix, maintain, because you're not looking at the microscopic level.
Right.
Everything is scaled up.
Yeah.
And in the realm of doing it yourself, if something breaks, you know how to fix it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So even if you decide you want to work with a builder or subcontract certain things, be sure that you understand what they're doing so that if things or when things need to be repaired, you feel empowered to be able to do that on your own.
And if you are having it built by someone else, please, please, please do lots of research on them. Talk to customers, good and bad, because unfortunately there's a lot of people stealing people's money in this realm because the popularity of van and bus builds. There are people that improvise themselves as van and bus builders. Get references from people that have owned their vehicle for a couple of years, and if this is a new builder starting out, be a little more careful. But also demand, don't just ask, demand for regular updates with videos if you're not able to be there on a regular basis.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of build yourself to the largest degree possible.
Yeah.
The only thing that I hired out on my bus build was the spray foam insulation. And
Same here.
yeah, the spray foam is one of the few things where you only get one shot. And once it's sprayed, you're stuck with whatever that result is. And actually the folks who did mine gave me a lower price than I would be able to do it myself with the kits that you can buy from Home Depot or Amazon even. So I saved the learning experience on that. And when I build my next bus, I will probably hire that piece out again, because again, you only get one shot. If you screw it up, you can't go back and fix it. I'm the type of guy who learns from doing it the wrong way and then going back and doing it the right way when the wrong way didn't work out. So with spray foam, that one's off the table.
And it takes a lot of tools to do spray foam properly. And one thing that I read a lot in the groups is, I don't want to use spray foam because of the toxicity of it and all that. In reality, today's spray foam is not what the fear mongers are telling you was spray foam 30 years ago.
Yeah.
When we had our bus spray foamed, the company that did it, I asked, how long do I have to wait to go into the bus? They said, wait another 2 minutes.
Yep.
The most sensitive person to toxicity and stuff like that, a half hour later could have walked through the bus without any problems.
Yeah, and not to go too far down the spray foam alley.
Yeah.
But spray foam is also the best insulation with the best sealing against moisture, and it's also after the cure time, which the smell goes away very quickly.
Yeah.
The cure finishes in about a couple of weeks before it's completely cured. Once it's completely cured, it is a non-flammable substance. That was a very important thing for me, having had a fire last year in my bus.
Yeah.
Which that'll be a different video. We're not going to go into that too much, but if you're afraid of spray foam, you should be afraid of the other ones more.
Yeah.
So next one on my list is simplifying your lifestyle. And this one goes kind of hand in hand with the cost of living differences. When you've kind of whittled down the things that you do in your life so that it's able to fit into a bus, it's a lot less complicated. There's a lot fewer things that you're doing that you figure out what's important to you and what's not important to you. The things that aren't important to you, they just don't make it into the bus. There's no room for them. You're not going to waste space on things that you're not going to use. Or maybe you will initially, and they'll be kicked out when you discover actually what I need, instead of this thing I never use is a little more storage for ramen noodles or what have you.
Yeah, for myself, I went from a very large house, a very large garage, lots of vehicles, down to everything I own is in this bus.
And I was a little bit luckier being younger in the aspect of
Quiet you.
transitioning to bus life. Before I moved into the bus, I was in a townhouse with 2 roommates. So I pretty much had most of what I owned in my bedroom, bathroom, and part of the garage. So other than selling off large furniture that I didn't need for the bus, it was very easy for me to downsize because I was used to living in slightly more confined spaces.
Yeah.
Yeah, my house that I was in before moving into a schoolie was way too big for it's me and my wife and our cat, and we had 2 extra bedrooms that we just kept the door closed because we didn't need to spend energy heating and cooling empty rooms, and we had way too much stuff going on, and it hurts you to have so many things that you can't focus on the ones that are actually important to you. Mm-hmm. And it's not necessarily even obvious when you're just overwhelmed by how much is there, what aspects of it you actually do or don't care about. So it was mentally, it was a huge boost for me. It was rough for the first couple of weeks. You're figuring a lot of stuff out, but not too far into it, you really get that comfort level of, I know I've got what I need. I don't have what I don't need for the most part, and there's just a lot less of it there.
So before we go into the next one, I have to go
to
stretch and
some
fold.
bread.
Yeah.
This would be a great time for questions.
Yeah,
while
well,
Ryan's
we have one
folding
here.
his bread.
So, speaking of folding bread, Kim Austin was saying, I need a larger kitchen area for baking and cake making. If you look at the LaCroix Cruiser YouTube or Instagram, you'll see that our kitchen is roughly, about 12 feet long?
Yeah.
With, a good 10, 12 feet of counter space, a big fridge, lots of area. We have every appliance known to man, it seems.
Till they come up with a new one.
Well,
Yeah.
since we're waiting for Ryan,
Yeah.
we have a Breville oven, we have an air fryer, we have a microwave, we have a stovetop or gas stovetop, we have an electric induction stovetop, we have a waffle maker, we have sous vide, we have an air dryer, or not air dryer.
What's a sous vide?
Sous vide is a way of cooking in vacuum. So you vacuum bag your meat, and then it's in a water bath that keeps it at a constant temperature, so you can't overcook
Is
your
that
meat.
some weird Canadian thing?
No, it's French. But anyways, we have an ice cream maker, we have an ice maker, we have a dehydrator, and and the one that everyone needs seems to be in this community. If you don't have this, it's an Instapot.
Yep.
And we also have a coffee maker thingy. I don't drink coffee, so
Yeah.
that's Sylvie's.
Yeah. I do drink coffee,
Yeah.
but I use a press. We have an electric kettle. We have a full-size stove with oven. We have a large Instant Pot. We have an ice maker. We have a bread maker.
Oh, we don't have a bread maker.
You don't have a bread maker.
We don't
My
eat bread.
wife bakes, so if you're concerned about being able to bake, you just need to design your kitchen around that. Like, you know what's important to you. You want to bake, you need an oven. You need something that's going to be big enough. You're not going to get away, like if you're into baking, you're not going to get away with the little 2-burner Camp Chef stove that you'll see in a lot of these builds that gives you the little super small little oven that doesn't have an accurate temperature control. You're going to need an oven.
Yeah.
So just put an oven in it.
Right. One of the things, so we both do it, but we do consulting for people that want to build their own bus or vehicle. And one of the things I do is give them a questionnaire. And part of that questionnaire is for the next 2 weeks, write down everything you use in your home and for how long you use it. So Josh is sitting on a very comfortable sofa right now. The reason we have a comfortable sofa is we like to sit comfortably. When we watch TV, we're comfortable. If you never watch TV and you never sit on your sofa at home, you don't need a comfortable sofa. But if you do, you need that. If you use a coffee maker, having a coffee maker would be a nice thing. If you like ice cubes, an ice maker. You're baking, etc., etc. Figure out what you actually use and what you need, and then go from there.
Yeah, definitely being able to bake, being able to cook. Ryan cooks constantly. If you've seen his TikTok, right? Like, you're on TikTok, you've seen his TikTok. That's all he does. He cooks on TikTok.
Yeah.
But Ryan loves to cook. I like to cook. My wife likes to cook. Do you like to cook, Ivan?
Yes, definitely.
Ivan likes to cook. We all like to cook, and we all live in buses. It's 100% doable. Just have that as one of your primary things when you're designing what to have. If you are in a massive coach like this, where you've got 10 million watts of solar panels, and 10 million kilowatt hours of battery, go ahead and get that induction stove or whatever. I use a propane stove. Any gas stove, natural gas stove that was sold in the last 30 or 40 years now will have included or will have available from the manufacturer a kit that converts it to propane. We happen to find one for a very good price that was already converted to propane, but it is a full-size stove. We do all the cooking in the world, and we love it.
Yeah, and we have an induction cooktop, and trust me, we also have a propane cooktop. The induction cooktop was used once. The propane one is used every day. Have you ever seen a commercial kitchen with an electric stove? No.
Well,
There's a reason for that.
Ivan, that vent is going to completely drown us out on the microphone.
Okay.
in the realm of the propane cooktop, like Josh talked about, I did buy mine brand new from, I think it was Home Depot. And it came with the orifices to convert it. It said, make sure you have a licensed professional do the conversion for you. Look it up on YouTube. It takes all of 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And all you need is a socket. You take some brass fitting orifices out of various parts on it, and you put the ones in for propane, and that's it.
And that's it.
So definitely worth it. I love having a gigantic oven in my bus.
Yeah.
I can do 4 loaves of focaccia at one time, or 2 loaves of sourdough simultaneously.
And when we had our bricks and sticks house, we rarely used the oven. So for us, it's not a priority. But every other cooking utensil it is.
All right. So the next one on my list is making new friends in new places. And a little bit of overlap with the schooling community, but not all the friends that you meet are going to be nomads. We go a lot of places where, and this is something I brought up in the 10 worst things about being a schoolie, is you can never be hidden. You're never stealthy. People will always notice you. Sometimes that's negative, sometimes that's positive. We've met a lot of people in our bus where we were in the right mood for meeting somebody, and somebody cool happened to show up at just the right time. We made a friend in another place that we never would have met otherwise. We went on our first lap around the country, and we were gone for months, and we needed to get some stuff from Amazon. And we happened to meet somebody that no way would we ever have met otherwise, who we met them in Utah, and they allowed us to have Amazon packages shipped to their house. This was before Amazon lockers were really a thing, and we made another long-term friend just by being in the right place at the right time while we were out traveling. Uh-oh.
Oh, no. No, we're not related in any way, shape, or form.
No, these guys...
We have the same voice, is what they say.
Oh, well, I'll take that as a compliment. We met each other through events. The first event I met you at was...
I think it was... Wasn't it Swarm 2 years ago?
I think it was Swarm 2 years ago. So it was right here in this same field in the middle of Florida a couple of years ago. I'm trying to think where I met Ivan the first time. Was it a tiny house show?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I met Ivan at a tiny house show years ago, which if there's
no,
ever...
It would have been at Doe Lake Swarm, probably.
Well, I was definitely at Doe Lake Swarm.
Yeah, so was
Yeah.
I. I had a different bus then, so
Yeah.
it was blue and it was
Okay.
quiet.
Yeah. So it was events for all of us.
Yeah.
For our first time meeting. But if you do see a tiny house show going on in your area, go check it out, because tiny house shows are really schooly shows with 2 or 3 tiny houses. We do several of them a year, and they're usually 75% schoolies, 10% vans, 5% whatevers, and then the rest are actual tiny houses. So if you're interested in schoolies and there's a tiny house show in your area, definitely go check it out.
Yeah. And I'd like to thank Smuggler. Smuggler is acting as a moderator here, answering questions.
Good job, Smuggler.
Yeah.
So Smuggler's actually going to be at Bus Bonanza.
Oh, nice.
Excellent.
So he rented one of the tiny houses, and he'll be able to hang out with us in person.
Very cool.
Unfortunately, we won't be there.
Well, I'll
But
be
Ryan
there,
will.
and
Oh, you will. Good.
maybe we'll get you in on a video.
Yeah, Smuggler's been a longtime supporter of a whole bunch of schoolie channels.
Good.
He's been one of my moderators for over a year now, and he is fantastic with helping us keep these lives smoothly running.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anybody else have something they wanted to add into?
Meeting great
Making
people.
new
Yeah.
friends?
So we actually travel to meet people. We don't go to places. We go to events, and we go to we teach and we do consulting and all that fun stuff. So we're traveling the countries, Canada and the U.S., to meet people, and this facilitates that very easily.
Yeah, and to Josh's point, we're not incognito. Whenever people come up to me and they're like, hey, I'm sorry to bother you or whatnot, my response usually is, if I wanted to be hidden or was afraid of attention, I wouldn't be driving around in a big blue bus.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go on to my next one here. It is being able to pick up and go easily either toward something good or away from something bad and still have your entire home with you. Here in Florida, 2 or 3 times a year, there will be the storm of the centuries coming in, and you can't find toilet paper, and you can't find bottled water, and generators are out of stock at Home Depot, and everybody's trying to get themselves all locked into their houses and apartments, and we just drive away, and there's no pain. Like, we get to go on a little trip. That's cool. We sleep in our own bed. We make our own dinners using our own kitchen. We have our cat. It's 100% just comfort, your normal everyday life. You just happen to be somewhere else at the time. On the positive, like you're not always running away from something bad. Sometimes there will be some cool event to go to. There will be some trip you've been meaning to do. There's some national monument you wanted to check out. There's something super cool that you've got set in your mind that you want to go check out. You just jump in your bus and you go. These, as Ivan likes to say, these houses have rubber foundations, and those rubber wheels will roll, and they're made for it. So being able to just jump in and go with all the comforts of home, it's a completely different way of traveling from flying or taking a bus or driving your car and having the whole hotel and whatever other mess and sleeping in somebody else's bed, using somebody else's kitchen, etc.
I always chuckle when I'm visiting friends or family and I'm taking my bus with me, and they're like, "Oh, we set up the guest room," or like whatever. Like, you can come in and sleep in one of the guest beds. And I was like,
No.
I have my bedroom and my mattress that I like.
Right.
I will take you up on probably your shower and your washer and dryer, but
Yeah.
I'm still going to be sleeping in my own bed.
Yeah, and before Ivan jumps in, if I'm staying with a friend in their driveway or backyard or what have you, I will take them up on their laundry facilities.
Yes.
My shower is better than their shower. I guarantee it. I will not sleep in their bed. My mattress is way better than any guest room I've ever seen. Definitely I like to be able to fill my water. I like to be able to do some laundry because we otherwise, with our size bus, we use laundromats. So we'll go have one couple hour stop at a laundromat, wash everything we own, take up 4 or 5 washers and dryers at the same time, and get it done. We're right back on the road. But most of the stuff in our bus is as good or better than most of our friends will have in their buses, and that's even friends with super nice houses. You just cannot compete with our amazing shower. I'm sorry.
And not having experienced it, but having seen it, yes,
Yeah.
it is an amazing shower.
I think I'm going to have to come borrow your shower later.
We also have when you're figuring out how you're going to build your bus, one of the things you need to keep in mind is water capacity, and we have 165 gallons of fresh water, and our biggest consumer of water is our shower. Absolutely, we take long, hot, awesome showers, and yeah, you're not going to get a better shower than we have. Well, my 10th thing on my list, it's too repetitive. It's too close to one of my other things. So I'm going to call it at 9 for me and let these guys take over with the ones where their list differed from mine.
So,
But there was tons of overlap, so there's only going to be a couple.
I think one of the big things for me that I've learned and that I really appreciate about bus life is it forces you to slow down and take in the view and take in the experiences, both physically, because my bus doesn't go real fast.
Your bus is faster than mine.
So I'm normally going about 60 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So if I'm on an interstate, I'm in the slow lane, taking in the scenes. But that's probably one of the best things that I like about bus life is slowing down and really experiencing the journey rather than worrying about trying to get to the destination at exactly this time and date.
Yeah, if you're used to being in a hurry, you will quickly adapt. The bus is not going to be, even fast buses, like there are some buses out there, like Ivan's bus is pretty fast. His bus is faster than just about any other bus here probably. But even then, it's massive. It's not the same as driving a little car. You have to pace yourself, and if you're in a hurry, you'll get yourself in trouble.
So,
there's no need for it.
And Josh just answered Chris P. Bacon's question. No, this isn't a short bus.
This is not a short bus. This thing is massive.
It's 45 feet long, 8.5 feet wide, 12 feet 7 inches tall.
It's one of the largest rigs downtown at Schoolie Swarm.
Yeah, Ivan has one of the largest types of bus that's out there. My bus is pretty large, really. It's 32 feet bumper to bumper, although I then added the lift on the back, so that added a few feet. But it's a Type D, which is the bread loaf shaped bus, not the dog nose style. So it has about the same interior space as a 40-foot dog nose bus in a slightly smaller package.
Yeah.
But this thing blows it away. He has 2 more rooms than I have.
Yeah.
Mine stops at the bedroom, and he's got even more stuff, and he's got all this storage under the floor. It's definitely a different type of rig.
Your bus would fit inside. of
Yeah,
the-
my bus would fit inside this bus. This is definitely not a short bus.
Yeah.
Ivan, did you have anything? Well, you don't really slow down all that much.
No, but we do slow down. Like it's a much more relaxing lifestyle. And for us, when we arrive somewhere, so you see it, the Instagram photo, especially the van lifers. You know, they have the 2 back doors open. The female of the couple, or the better looking female, if it's 2 females, is laying on the bed with her posterior up in the air, looking out at the ocean or whatever they're looking
Right.
at. That happens, 3-4 days out of the year that you actually have those views. No,
Yeah.
basically, when we pull the blinds down here, no matter where we're parked, we're home. It can be in the middle of a truck stop. It could be in an industrial park. It could be by the lake. It could be in a Walmart parking lot. It doesn't matter. We're home, wherever we are. And yes, we do. It forces us to have a slightly different pace of life. Yes, I may drive a little faster than you guys, but we still have a nice, slow, relaxed pace of life.
Yeah, and it's not just the speed of the bus.
No.
I personally don't particularly care to drive more than about 2 hours a day. Even if I have someplace to go, like unless I'm on my way to, and it hasn't happened yet, but unless I'm trying to drive my bus to a funeral somewhere, I'm only driving 100 miles a day and finding cool places to be every 100 miles or so on my route. And it's comfortable that way. It's relaxing. I get to go somewhere. I have a regular enough job that I need to be someplace where I'm stationary for most of the day, every work day, and it just fits really nicely. I'm not in a hurry to get anywhere.
Exactly.
Dan K. Daddy, yes.
Is it Dan K or is it Dank?
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh.
Dank Daddy or Dan K. Daddy,
Yeah.
however you'd like
All
to
right,
pronounce it.
Dank Daddy, you have been christened in case you weren't previously.
It could be that.
Yeah.
But yes,
I think it's Dank Daddy.
I was being polite.
Generation gap here.
Yeah, definitely. I'm on the old side of the fence.
Right.
They picked their own
Yeah.
username.
Oh, yeah, I
just
know.
saying.
Yeah.
But we tow a vehicle behind the bus. Josh has a scooter on the back of the bus,
Yeah.
and Ryan has the electric bicycle.
Yeah, I have a big scooter. Well, I have a mid-sized big scooter. It's a 400cc Yamaha with lots of storage for groceries, and it's really easy to go ahead and park the bus, and within 60 seconds I can have the scooter on the ground, go do whatever errands I need to do. We like to do thrift shopping, so we'll jump on the scooter and just hit all the Goodwills and Salvation Armies and whatever else happens to be around us. 60 seconds and it's right back lifted up and ready to go when we're done.
For us, we, unlike these guys, don't travel to follow the weather. So a couple weeks ago, I was in Omaha, Nebraska, where it was minus 20. So having a vehicle instead of a scooter is a little more practical.
Well, yeah, we don't go to those places
Yeah.
where the snow is. Like
No.
that's a top level goal for us, is to avoid extreme weathers on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need it to be like, we have a good heat. We have a great heater. We have a pretty good air conditioner, and we can power both of them. We like to use them as little as possible. We like to be able to open the windows. We've got a nice rollout canopy on, or rollout awning on the side of the bus. We love to be able to just put that awning out, open the windows, maybe crack the hatch open. It's all fine and good until Hilly needs to open the hatch and the mosquitoes come in.
Yeah.
Gotta put a screen on that.
Yeah, we had one, but it burned.
So I think the only other thing on my list that I don't know that necessarily overlapped 100% with you is kind of the freedom of time and spending more time with friends and family. So even though I'm traveling all the time and not necessarily in the same place as friends and family from before bus life, back when I was working a corporate job, I would see my parents maybe twice a year around the holidays. Now I can see them pretty much whenever I want. I get to spend more time with them, work on projects. They come on adventures with me on the road. And friends from college that may have moved across the country, I can park in their driveway now, and it's like no time has passed. So really getting to spend time with friends and family, more so in this lifestyle than a traditional corporate job, is one of the best benefits, in my opinion.
Yeah, and same with us. Even though we're on the road a lot, we actually spend more time with our kids and grandkids than we did when we were running a brick and mortar business. So.
Yeah, I did a trip to actually another School Swarm event 3 years ago now, was the one in Missouri. Swarm in the Ozarks.
Yeah.
And we brought my wife's mom with us, and she went on the trip with us, and it was 1,000 miles or so of driving to the event, and then we spent a couple of weeks actually in and around my hometown, St. Louis, and visited friends and family that still live there, and the trip back, and it was a really awesome family trip.
Okay, we have a question.
Uh-oh.
From MCHLCHB.
Oh.
What do you do for work?
I sell my socks to perverts on eBay.
And don't forget your wife's
Yeah.
OnlyFans.
Oh yeah, my wife's OnlyFans. No, that's our common thing. That's one of the most common questions that we'll see is how do you make money on the road? And my perspective is if you're considering doing this, you need to have that figured out. Like that should be your first thing. Like, how am I going to afford this? How am I going to be able to afford this lifestyle? And then, do I want to buy a bus or do I want to buy a box truck? It should really be in that order. I personally, I work online. I build websites, and so I can work from anywhere that I have internet access, which is just about anywhere in the United States. But the question, it's kind of turned into a meme question that it's such a frequently asked one that my go-to response is I sell dirty socks to perverts on eBay, and my wife does OnlyFans.
Well, and you have done well with that, though.
I have.
Honestly,
Yeah.
the
Yeah. And-
socks. Yeah.
Yeah, and she'll say that she sells pictures of her feet online, and people will actually believe her. Which, if you've seen her feet, like you wouldn't. But her feet are fine. There's nothing wrong with her feet. But she'll actually get a couple of responses every time saying, "You actually do this? Like, what's the venue where you're able to sell these, and what type of photos are people looking for?" And yeah, it's great. But yeah, I build websites and web applications, and I can work basically anywhere. All I need is my laptop and internet access.
And I'm similar to Josh, so I consider myself a digital nomad, which means all of my, well, not all, but a majority of my income comes from online avenues. One of those is also kind of in the web design and small business consulting, whether it's websites, storefronts, custom emails, social media, things like that for small businesses. Social media is a portion of my income as well, between creating content and more specifically the Amazon Influencer Program. So I make review videos that get uploaded to Amazon, and I get paid every day by them, regardless of if I'm actively working on that. So really the internet has kind of changed the way you can make money. To Josh's point, figure it out before you want to join bus life. I was laid off in the pandemic from an engineering job and decided, screw it, I'm going to buy a bus. So like while I was building my bus, I was also trying to figure out how to make money from anywhere, and build out a business and do all of this. And the first like 9 to 12 months was very stressful for me because I didn't know how to make sustainable income. So if you have the opportunity, figure that out first and don't just jump into it if you can avoid that.
For me, completely different than these guys. And also a different entry into bus life. That was not planned. It's the bus life that changed the way I was working. And I adapted bus life because of what I was doing. So as I mentioned before, I was traveling a lot, not being with my wife, being in hotels, being in restaurants, and all that fun stuff. And did some calculations and found it was cheaper to use the bus that we already had. And the bus we originally built just as a weekend toy to go to racetracks, because racing is a hobby of ours. And that's what the bus was for. Consequently, that bus wasn't really adapted to living in it full time. So we built a second bus, and now this is our third bus. But we've adapted our income making potential to the reality of a bus. But it's first our income that transitioned us into a bus, and then we've been rolling it over. But I do business consulting. I do product development, and what do I do?
What do you
I'm
do?
on YouTube.
Just Google Ivan LaCroix, and you will basically find his rap sheet of everything he does.
Yeah.
Ivan and Sylvia are two of what I would consider the most recognized people in the detailing industry. Didn't you say you were recognized at the airport the other day?
I unfortunately, yeah. And that's not the goal. But we'll say in the detailing industry, I'm an influencer. And in the bus community as well, we have that reputation. And Josh and Ryan as well, because we're here to help people. And that's why we're doing videos like this. And if you're not subscribed to Josh's YouTube channel, please do. If you're not subscribed to Seeking Discovery, please do. And if you're not subscribed to LaCroix Cruiser, now's the time. Also, don't forget to give the thumbs up, hit the notification bell, and leave us questions below.
I'm not going to tell you to hit the notification bell because I never hit the notification bell. And I also won't tell you to turn off your ad block because I don't turn off my ad block. And I wouldn't ask you to do something that I wouldn't do.
So
What's ad block?
Ad block is
you get to block all
amazing.
the ads on all the stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
All of them.
It's a free plugin.
Yeah.
Ad blocker
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
for like Google Chrome.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
uBlock Origin, not regular uBlock. Don't get regular uBlock. uBlock Origin.
So Ivan, it's up to you if you want to answer this question or not. But somebody says, "How old is Ivan? He looks nice for his age, fun-loving and free-spirited. # goals."
You wouldn't say that when you find out he's 35.
I'm 35 with 26 years experience.
Yeah, you can do the math.
Josh, what are your socials again? Dank Daddy wants to know.
All right, Dank Daddy. So I am Wander Lounge on YouTube.
Not Wonder.
Not Wonder, but Wander. WANDERLOUNGE on YouTube and also on TikTok. And if you like Instagram more than I do, I am Wander Lounge _bus because somebody else has Wander Lounge, or maybe they just wanted me to have an underscore. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I just used Ivan's TikTok account to leave a comment with Josh's handle. So you can click on Ivan's to follow him and
There you go.
then
Yeah.
go to Josh's based
Yeah.
off what I typed.
But we're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube under LaCroix Cruiser. And then for the detailing stuff, DIY Detail, all four of those as well. And for my own personal accounts, Ivan LaCroix. Ivan spelled with a Y, not an I.
Don't you
Yeah.
mean Yvonne?
Yeah.
Ivan. Well, if you
Ian.
speak French, I also speak French, but Ivan Lacroix is how my name is normally pronounced, but English-speaking people have a problem pronouncing it.
Josh, I think it's time for us to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hiller really likes the way you pronounce Prevost because it sounds like you're going to hock a loogie in the middle of it. Prevost makes these coach buses. They're one of the high-end coach bus brands, and most of us in the United States would call it a Prevost.
Well, Prevost, we get a lot.
Or Prevost, or
Yeah.
Prevost, or...
Yeah.
it's a strangely spelled word that's also strangely pronounced, especially if you are French.
Well, if you're French, it's not a strange word at all. But
Yes, it is.
Yeah. If you're English, it's a very strange word.
If you're French, you're just strange.
Yeah, I know. We're weird. But yeah, Prévost.
Yeah.
And people that own Prévosts in the U.S. don't even know how to pronounce the name of their own bus. So
Yeah.
don't worry about it.
Yeah. Great. Did you have any additional...
No, you guys
on your list?
basically covered everything.
Great.
But yeah, no, just someone mentioned that I look healthy for my age. And part of that is actually due to the bus. Because we cook for ourselves. The restaurant has been eliminated for all intents and purposes.
Exactly.
Yeah, going out to eat for the most part is a punishment these days. If you want to eat poorly, get a frozen pizza and put it in your oven, but don't go to a drive-through because you're gonna hit the building.
Yeah.
And you're not going to swing that curve.
Yeah, you're not gonna make the corner. You're gonna hit the building. That bar that hangs down to make sure too big of vehicles. That's gonna just drag along your solar panels.
Oh, it won't even drag because it hits about here on
Oh
the
yeah,
windshield.
on this one we're 14 feet up in the air right now. You probably can't tell from the camera angle, but like I don't know.
So-
it's facing the wrong way to see it, but there's another bus next to us, and its roof is literally here. His ceiling's way up here.
So, as an example, in the seat that I'm sitting at, we look down at truck drivers.
Not because they're bad people.
No, the driver's seat, which is a little lower, about 8 inches lower, that one is eye level with the truck driver. This one is a little higher than the truck driver. We have stadium seating.
Stadium seating. Yeah.
There you go.
So Tucker says, I'm trying to figure out ways to make income online so I can do some cool stuff like this. Well, head over to my bio, fill out the form that says, I want to learn more about being a digital nomad, and I will send you a free worksheet on how to define your ideal client. And I've got a private community called Camp Digital Nomad where I help people figure out how to monetize their skills online.
And it works.
Yeah, being able to, like, whatever you do as your regular job, just add on the road on the end of that, and
Yeah.
that's your ideal job, like something that you already know that you're already good at. Find out how to adapt that to being on the road. Like, if you're somebody who builds cabinets, like, you're not gonna go on the road as a traveling nurse. You're gonna go on the road, and you need to figure out how to attract cabinet building type projects or woodworking type projects or whatever, something that fits in that wheelhouse that you're able to do while you're traveling. And the tricky part is literally just finding how do you get your clients
Yeah.
while you're out.
And, you know, we have right here at Schooley Swarm, we have welders, we have cabinet makers that's what they do to travel around. We have digital nomads. We have retired people. We have
What's retirement?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have people that are technically retired like me that I don't know how I had time to work before. And there's people that do arts and crafts, and they actually make a living doing arts and crafts and selling them on the road, and Etsy and all that fun stuff. So there's a lot of different things you can do. You don't have to sit there on a keyboard all day long. Annotation, I think it's called.
Data annotation.
Data annotation.
Did you ever hear back from that?
I never did hear
No.
back from it.
Oh, that's
I
stupid.
don't think they like me.
No. And, you know, you can become a YouTube influencer. So when you get to that magical 100,000 subscribers, good luck.
Right.
Then you'll make like what, $800-900 a month.
It'll be amazing.
Yeah.
Look
But
forward to
Ivan,
that.
imagine the play button like hanging right there. It'd look
Right.
beautiful in your bus.
No, I don't have room for it. And that's another great
The
thing.
play button, it's under my bed.
I used it as a leveler.
Yeah, but that's also a great thing about living in a bus and traveling in a bus is you don't need money to buy crap because you have a limited amount of space, and if something comes into the bus, something has to leave the bus.
Mm-hmm.
So you no longer become a materialist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're an experientialist.
You can't be a roving or roaming hoarder. It's not going to work.
You can, but it's
Not going to work.
No, no. Like eventually, you'll fill out the bus, then the trailer. You'll have to get a semi. It's just not a good thing.
Yeah.
Or storage units all around the country, and you can go visit your storage units.
Right. You're traveling from.
Yeah, storage unit to storage unit to hoard.
Yeah. That's great. All right. Last chance for questions, you guys.
Yep.
We've devolved into chaos.
Yes, we have
Yes.
involved in a chaos. Chaos is fine. We
How many
thrive on
buses so
chaos.
far? I think we're probably at over 200 here by now.
Close to it, yeah. The event, there's 287 registered. Some are part-time, some are full-time, meaning they're only coming for a couple days. But there was 170 full-time.
Mm-hmm.
But at any one time, there's at least 200 here. And that's buses, that's vans, that's ambulances, that's shuttle buses, that's coaches, that's...
People in tents.
There's tents. There's actually a couple factory RVs.
Yeah. A couple.
But they're looking at the buses, trust me.
Yeah, they're looking at the buses.
Oh,
Oh, is that your bread timer?
bread timer.
Yeah.
So that's a good time
That's
to
a
end
good
it.
time to pause. Or a good
Thanks
time
for
to
hanging
end
out with us.
Thank you.
Again, if you haven't done so already, go follow the LaCroix Cruiser on all socials, as well as Wander Lounge on all socials. And if you haven't hit that follow button up in the corner, go ahead and do that right now. We'll likely be live again tomorrow morning for Bus Life Breakfast.
hopefully the weather cooperates and we'll actually have some folks hanging out with us.
Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow.
And instead of just me in the bus with random strangers knocking on my door. So,
Yeah.
with that being said,
And I think we're going to do another one of these tomorrow. We have a list of topics that we've come up with that we've just been waiting to all be in the same place to do. And this is one of the fun things for us about these get-togethers.
thank you guys. We are going to sign off on TikTok.
Bye,
Enjoy.
TikTok.
Somebody just signed up for their worksheet of how to...
Bye,
define,
YouTube.
your client.
Yeah.
That's cool. That was actually a while. How long was that?